This looked harmless. You'd use it every day, probably without thinking, and it slowly destroyed people's bodies, sometimes right inside their own homes. Today, we trust everyday things. We eat them, we drink them, we put them on our skin, we take them when we are sick. They feel safe because they are familiar. But for most of history, familiar did not mean safe. And that mistake cost people their health. Let's start with medicine. Old medicine was not about curing disease, it was about stopping pain, and one ingredient was extremely popular: mercury. Mercury kills bacteria, that part is true, so infections improved, pain reduced, symptoms faded, doctors thought it worked. The problem was what happened next. Mercury does not leave the body easily. It builds up, inside the brain, inside the kidneys, inside the nervous system. Over time, mercury damages nerve cells, signals in the brain slow down, muscles lose control, people develop shaking hands, mood changes, memory loss. But because the symptoms appeared slowly, no one blamed the medicine. People thought they were aging or stressed. The treatment felt like a success, until the damage became impossible to ignore. It fixed one problem by creating a much bigger one. Now let's talk about makeup. Looking pale used to mean wealth. It meant you did not work outdoors, so people used white face powder made from lead. Lead created smooth skin, covered marks, lasted all day. Visually, it worked perfectly, but lead does not stay on the skin, it enters the bloodstream. Once inside the body, lead interferes with organs, it disrupts the brain, it affects how blood carries oxygen. The damage happened slowly. Hair began falling out. Skin cracked, people became tired and forgetful. No sudden collapse, no obvious warning, just gradual decline. People blamed stress or poor sleep, not the makeup they trusted every morning. Beauty came at a very real cost. Homes were not safe either. Green was a fashionable color. Bright green meant luxury. That color often came from arsenic. Arsenic was cheap, it produced vivid pigment, and it killed insects, which sounds useful until it started affecting people. When rooms became warm or damp, tiny arsenic particles were released into the air. People breathed them in every day. Arsenic interferes with how cells produce energy. Cells begin to fail, symptoms appeared slowly. Headaches, breathing problems, chronic illness. Entire families got sick, and no one suspected the walls, because wallpaper feels harmless. Turns out, poison does not need to look dangerous. Wallpaper poisoned the air, but the problem was not just what people breathed, it was also what they drank every single day. Clear water looks safe. That assumption stuck around for a very long time, and it quietly killed millions. Before modern filtration, water mixed with waste. No labels, no warning signs, just vibes. Bacteria traveled easily. People drank it every day because what else were they going to drink? Once inside the body, bacteria moved into the gut, then multiplied rapidly. Severe dehydration followed, fever, organ failure. Entire neighborhoods became sick at once. People blamed the weather, or bad air, or fate, anything but the water, because the water looked clean, and bacteria do not care what water looks like. They only care that it exists. This part is uncomfortable. Children's toys were often painted with lead paint. Lead made colors bright, it lasted longer, it was cheap. Children played with toys, then touched their mouths. Lead entered their bodies easily. Children absorb lead faster than adults. Inside the brain, lead disrupts development. Connections form incorrectly. Learning slows. Behavior changes. The damage is permanent. Parents thought their children were difficult or slow. They blamed parenting. It was not parenting. It was chemistry. Until now, the danger came from things people used without thinking. Food, water, the walls around them. But some dangers did not come quietly. Some were created the moment people tried to clean them away. Cleaning products used to be extremely harsh. The logic was simple: if it smelled strong, it must be working. The stronger the burn in your nose, the cleaner the house had to be. Many cleaners contained chlorine or ammonia. On their own, they were dangerous but manageable. The problem started when people mixed them. Chlorine plus ammonia creates toxic gas. That gas attacks moist tissue, eyes, throat, lungs. Breathing it causes immediate irritation. Then coughing. Then chest tightness. In higher amounts, the lungs begin to fail. People collapsed while cleaning their homes. Not in factories, not in laboratories, in kitchens, in bathrooms, trying to make their homes healthier, by accidentally filling them with poison gas. It is a strange irony. People believed cleanliness meant safety, but chemistry does not care about intentions, and it definitely does not care how shiny your floor looks afterward. By this point, danger had a pattern. If something felt powerful, people assumed it was good for them, and nothing felt more powerful than something that literally glowed. Radium glowed in the dark. At the time, that felt magical. Glow meant energy. Energy meant strength. Strength meant health. So radium went everywhere. Watches, face creams, drinks, household products. If it glowed, people wanted it. What they did not know was what radiation actually does. Radiation damages cells by breaking DNA. DNA is the instruction manual of the body. When it breaks, cells cannot repair themselves properly. They keep dividing. Or they stop working. Either way, tissue weakens, bones became brittle, teeth fell out, organs failed, people believed they were adding energy to their bodies. They were slowly destroying it from the inside. The glow faded quickly. The damage did not, and by the time the glow disappeared, it was already too late. By now, one thing should feel uncomfortable. Danger did not always look dangerous. Sometimes it glowed. Sometimes it smelled clean, and sometimes it was marketed as gentle. Sweetness used to be simple. If something tasted sweet, it usually came with calories. Then chemistry offered a shortcut. Artificial sweeteners promised the same taste without the cost. Early versions were not fully understood. Some confused digestion. Others disrupted how the body processed energy. People noticed headaches, stomach discomfort, reactions they could not explain. The problem was not sweetness itself. It was the assumption that replacing sugar automatically meant safer. The body expects energy when it tastes sweetness. When that promise is broken, the response is not always calm. Convenience felt modern. The side effects came later. As daily life became more chemical, so did food, and nowhere did trust come easier than at the dinner table. Before refrigeration, keeping food edible was a constant battle. Preservatives solved that problem. Some slowed spoilage, some stopped bacteria, but a few also entered the body and stayed there. Certain metals and chemicals built up slowly over time. Small amounts felt harmless. No immediate pain, no warning signs, until exposure added up. People did not connect fatigue, digestive problems, or illness to food they ate every day. Because food felt safe. It always does. Some dangers were swallowed, others were absorbed, quietly. Through the skin, skin absorbs more than most people realize. Early lotions and creams used metals and chemicals to preserve texture and color. Some of these substances entered the bloodstream easily. Over time, they affected nerves and organs. There was no burning, no immediate reaction, just slow accumulation, which is the hardest danger to notice because nothing feels wrong until it does. And this was not ancient history. Baby lotions and powders were already common by the early 20th century, but they did not disappear. They stayed in homes for generations. In some cases, well into the 2000s, many baby powders use talc. Talc is a mineral. It comes from the ground. In some deposits, talc naturally occurs near asbestos. When inhaled, these tiny particles do not belong in the lungs. Babies breathed them in easily. Parents believed they were protecting their children, keeping skin dry, preventing irritation, doing exactly what the label promised. There was no smell, no burning, no instant reaction, which made the danger easy to miss. Because when something is made for babies, people assume it must be safe. History suggests that assumption deserves a second look. After all of this, a pattern becomes impossible to ignore. People trusted what felt modern, what worked fast, what looked clean, what authority approved. Long-term damage stayed invisible, and humans are very good at ignoring invisible problems, especially when life feels easier because of them. Every generation believes it has figured things out, that it is safer, smarter, more careful, and every generation is wrong about something. The real question is not how people made mistakes in the past. It is this: what everyday thing do we trust today that future generations will pause at and ask, how did they not see that? That question is worth thinking about. If everyday things can hide stories like this, there's a lot more we haven't noticed yet. Follow for more.